Hey, it's Steve Hanley with Georgia Pine Home Inspections. All right, on this week, we're going to be talking about expansion tanks. All right, so I get this question all the time. People are like, when do I need one? What's the purpose of it? So we'll dive into that. So when we heat water with a water heater, we know that water expands. So in order to relieve that pressure of that expansion, we have this expansion tank, right? So that's the point of having an expansion tank. Now, I will give you a caveat and say that sometimes we don't, like you might still have a way of protecting against thermal expansion, and it's not an expansion tank. Like you may see a valve, and those valves will work the exact same. The only difference is they'll open up and then they'll just discharge outside the house. But either way, you're going to want to have one of those two, either a like that's like a Watts valve or a thermal expansion tank. Now, you don't always need one. So you only need a expansion tank is if your house is on a closed loop system. So what that means is that there's some type of device or valve that when the water comes into your house from the street, that it can't go back out. Commonly what we have in almost all the houses is some type of pressure reducing valve, right? Because the water pressure from the street is really, really high. It's like 140 PSI. So we put these pressure reducing valves on there and it reduces that water pressure down to like 60 PSI. So that way we're not damaging any of the fixtures or plumbing pipes inside of our house. But when we put that reducing valve on there, the water can no longer go back out to the street, and it makes it a closed loop system, so that the way there's nowhere for that water to go when it expands. Thus, put in the expansion tank in there. All right, let's walk over here real quick. I'm gonna show you what that pressure reducing valve looks like. Okay, all right, so we are at where our main water shutoff valve is, and that's where your pressure reducing valve is gonna be. So if you wanna know if you have one of these pressure reducing valves, go to wherever your main water shutoff valve is, and it's gonna be right next to it. So mine happens to be behind this cover plate, but then you'll see this valve right here, this valve right there. So if you have that, that's what's reducing the water pressure inside of the house, meaning that water cannot go back out the other way, and that we have a closed loop system. So if you got one of those on there, then you know you got to have some type of way to protect against thermal expansion. Thus, you need an expansion tank. All right, till next time.